All right, let's talk about where the Lions could go in day 3. I think it's the duration of the draft. What is it? Around what? 4, 5, 6, and 7. Back in the day, it used to be on Saturdays. Half the draft, another half was on Sunday, I believe it was, man. But let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. This is the round where you can find some hidden positions, skill position players that really, kind of getting overlooked due to the program they was at or due to injury or something like that. So it's a kid from Liberty that's 6'4". He don't really have the deep speed that we looking for, but he got great hands. He had a couple drops last year, whatever reason that was. But a guy like that, you might take a flyer on and try to develop him like you did Kenny Galladay. And even though he don't really have the deep speed, but I think he a long strider. And I think he play faster than his 40 time indicating. It's a guy that you kind of could develop a big body receiver. And probably clean up his routes and teach him to run the route tree. And it's probably be a good pickup. Donovan Peoples-Jones is another guy that I like, from Cass Tech. Salute to the technicians. Elite athlete. In Michigan, I think Harbaugh really stunned his growth at Michigan, and injuries did as well. And you've seen that with the kid that went to the Patriots yesterday, the Nigerian guy that, he didn't become a starter until his second year. I mean, his senior year. And the Patriots seeing the value in him. So it just let you know that Jim Harbaugh ain't doing the best job as far as managing and coaching his team. Because if you got talents like that going into the second round, he only started his senior year. He was coming on and off the field. You just ain't utilizing your talent the right way. So that kid should have been playing a lot more. And that was a big question at the draft. Forget his name. But yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones is definitely a guy I look at, man, because he got the athletic ability, and I think Shea Patterson and Jim Harbaugh in that offense hurt him. So it's definitely a guy I'm looking at. He's a guy that got the deep speed, he got the size, he got the athletic ability. Just worry about guys coming home and playing in front of their home crowd and dealing with the stuff in the street. But if he got a good head on the shoulders, I definitely would like to see him take a flyer on Donovan Peoples-Jones. And I just think he brings some explosiveness to the offense, and he can learn behind Marvin Jones. He can heal up, and if you need him to step in, he can step in. I think he could be that deep ball threat, and I think that's the guy I think the Lions should take a flyer on. You talk about guys like Jacob Eason as well too, a developmental quarterback that may or may not develop into a good backup or a good starting quarterback. Strong arm, big kid, prototypical size, 6'6". Big arm, started off at Georgia, lost to Jake Fromm, I think got injured, and then went up to Washington and had a solid career. So that's something kind of you looking at a guy like that. You say the talent is there. You know what? Talent over need. And that's kind of been the mantra for this draft for Bob Quinn. And that's how you got to draft when you're trying to replenish talent like Quadre and Darius and Damon and, possibly Matthew Stafford at some point. So, Easton would be the quarterback from Washington State. You got to look at traits at quarterbacks that you think are good. If they can read defenses, they got a big arm, and you can clean some things up mechanically. We know Darrell Bevell is do well with developing quarterbacks, done well with Tavares, done well with Russell Wilson. So, you're looking at somebody, a functional offensive coordinator that can get the best out of him. If Stafford goes on to play 5 years, or you draft another quarterback and Eason showcase good in preseason, and people think he could be really good, you can get a draft pick for him, or he could be the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford. So you're looking at those skill positions, and also you got Thaddeus Moss out there as well too. If you're thinking about, adding an additional tight end, a guy that got injured, I believe, during the combine or whatever in pre-draft workouts. He got a lot of speed to get down the field. I don't think he's been drafted yet. And also, he can be he could be like Aaron Hernandez on the football field, T.O. Gronkowski for T.J. Hockenson. So taking the tight end late and developing them, that's how you take a tight end. See, James and Hockenson is basically the same type of tight end damn near. So if you could take Thaddeus Moss and he could develop behind Hockenson, you could do a lot of things you did in New England with Hernandez and Gronk. You got the guy that's the athlete in Moss, and then you got the guy that's the big, Gronkowski type blocking guy like TJ Hockenson. So Thaddeus Moss is a guy that I look for as well. And also you got Charlie Heck out of North Carolina. I like a lot, offensive tackle. Big guy, just got to clean up some technical issues. You got the kid from Washington that dealt with a lot of injuries. He the top tackle on the board for ESPN if you're looking for him as well. You got John Runyan, who's listed as a tackle that could be a guard that measures very, very well as a guard in the NFL. He's played some left tackle, right tackle at Michigan. You could plug him in at left guard, and he'd probably instantly be better than Kenny Wiggins and Joe Dow right away. So if you want to kick Big V at right tackle, you might, want to put Jonah Jackson at right guard, and you can put Jon Runyan at left guard probably over Wiggins and Dale day one. You could have a nice young offensive line going forward for a very, very long time. So you got a few offensive linemen out there that I really, really like. That can be a developmental type. You got a kid from Auburn that could develop as well too down the line as a tackle. So we'll see where it goes there. Other than that, I seen I wanted the Lions. I drafted in my mock draft. I think his name is Rashard Lawrence or whatever his name is from LSU. Leader, you know what I'm saying? Passionate guy. Could be a vocal leader, natural leader. He can eventually lead that D line. Twitchy guy, always in the backfield. Think he has some injuries, but I like the kid out of LSU, the defensive tackle. He's top defensive tackle by ESPN on the draft board right now. So I like to see the Lions get him and develop him, and he can kind of be the guy that can be twitchy behind Deshaun Hand. So there's some very, very good guys out there as far as the Lions could attack and they could grab. That can help them out. But this is the time where you take chances on quarterback and skill positions and athletic football players that's down here that may be in, lower level opposition or may have some injuries or may have been, underutilized or misused in college, like Donovan Peoples-Jones, the kids from Liberty, Jacob Eason. I probably would take a flyer on him as well too. Like I said, Thaddeus Moss will be a great pairing down the line with TJ Hockenson. I would definitely take a flyer on him. Obviously, the Lions also need a punter as well. So, let's kind of go over the needs. And, you might like some other players out there as well, too. I think the need is also, a tight end is a need nobody talking about. I don't really think Jesse James is the guy going for him and Hockenson too much alike. So I like to see them take Thaddeus Moss. I think that's a need. They got to have a guy that got his speed that can play off TJ Hockenson. I think offensive tackle, developmental tackle is still a need as well too. And I also say punter is a need nobody's talking about. We did get rid of Sam Martin. I think he might have got picked up by somebody else. I think a deep ball receiver, like Donovan Peoples-Jones, that could develop behind Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones in the last year of his contract, nobody really talking about that as well too. You need that guy that can get down the field. Marvin Hall is more of a slot guy. So if you can kind of, get Donovan Peoples-Jones and groom him, with his salary behind Marvin Jones, he can learn behind Marvin Jones and learn the little nuances of running routes and how to, beat press and kind of get healthy. I do think, Donovan Peoples-Jones is a good pick with his 4.48 speed and his frame is similar. He's a similar player as far as stature, speed, to Marvin Jones. You know what I'm saying? Marvin Jones was a 4.4 guy. They both around 6'2". So I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is a great pick for the Lions, man. Like I said, punter, offensive tackle, guard, defensive lineman. We still need some interior linemen as well. Like I said, the kid from LSU. Also Alton, it's Alton, I forget his last name. He's from Syracuse. Alton Robinson. I forget this dude's last name. I like him a lot. From Syracuse. He has some issues. He was committed to Texas A&M. He was in my mock draft as well. He was committed to Texas A&M. Got some trouble with the law, but he was cleared and then ended up going to Syracuse, and he can stop the run. He can rush the passer. He got an above average first step, they said, and he just got to develop some more pass rushing moves, man, and develop as a pass rusher. And this is a guy that Jim Schwartz would have loved, and Terrell Austin would have loved to develop as a pass rusher. So look out for the kid from Syracuse. I think it's a good pick as a defensive end. Real twitchy guy. He's from Texas. Got a lot of ability, so I like him as well, man. So, there's a few guys out here I still like. Obviously, the Lions usually never go for those type of guys, but it seemed to be a different draft day two. So let's hope Bob Quinn can keep the magic going in day two. So Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jon Runyan, Charlie Heck, the Alton kid out of Syracuse, the defense tackle from LSU, Rashard. Those are guys I like. Thaddeus Moss going into the day, and we'll see what happens, man. But I think Bob Quinn gonna smash it again today. Let's be positive. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to me if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Twitter's the quickest way. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal there. Best way to donate is to share the video. Let me know what you guys think. We need day 3 and some guys you like in the comment section. We go.